As parish priest of Ryde Gladesville and chaplain to its schools, I just wanted to give you this Holy Week message, especially given the unusual nature of this upcoming Easter period, with our churches closed to the public and our celebrations limited due to social distancing. We just heard Seamus read out the words of the Gospel for Holy Thursday, in which Jesus asks us, "Do you understand what I've done for you?" I think it's a really good question to ask ourselves. Do we really understand what Jesus did for us at Easter? His selfless service in washing their feet, his acceptance of false accusations, insults, imprisonment, unspeakable suffering, and crucifixion, his being laid in someone else's tomb, and his rising from the dead on Easter Sunday. Well, was it all worthwhile? Does it make any sense to you at all? Probably not, if we're honest. It has eluded many people for thousands of years. But the key to it all is at the beginning of that reading. He'd always loved those who were his in the world, but now he showed them the extent of that love. A little earlier, Jesus had told them, "Greater love hath no man than to lay down his life for his friends." And then he told them quite candidly, "You are my friends." What? Me? You? Us? Absolutely. We are all on the receiving end of his utterly undeserved friendship, his sacrificial service, his limitless self-giving. And that is what Holy Week is all about. Jesus, the Son of God, shows you the extent of his love, which is what makes our lives all the more worthwhile. To quote a Christian song that I love and I know, "The value of my life, my worth can be seen in the cross of him who gave his life for me." So then, was it all worthwhile? Well, it was to Jesus, and it is for us as well. The washing of the disciples' feet is a really significant gesture, a gesture about selfless service, no matter what the cost. It means patiently loving even the ugly things about one another, which we can find a bit hard to accept. Their faults and failings, their chronic shortcomings, dare I say it, their sins and transgressions. Jesus wanted to show them that loving means humble service, and that this would become the model for all Christian life. And that's why at the end of that gospel he says, "If I then, your Lord and Master, have washed your feet, you should wash each other's feet. I've given you an example so that you may copy what I have done to you." And yet, there is something in it for us, because Jesus adds at the end, "Now that you know this, how happy you will be if you behave accordingly." Yes, we can be happy, even in times of crisis, even in the midst of the stress of what we're going through. Being all under the same roof for long periods of time. Anxiety about the coronavirus, the invisible invader. Concern for our elderly who have little defense against it. Financial strain due to loss of income. And for me, the stress of doing everything a mini army of volunteers used to do, and all before a merciless camera, which doesn't miss a thing. But even with the added stress, don't forget to serve one another without looking either for reward or recognition or reactions. That is what it means to wash one another's feet. Just imagine Jesus smiling at you, proud of you, happy to see someone who actually does understand what he did, and even dares to imitate his unconditional, uncompromising, untiring service and love. As Pope Francis has often said, the church is like a field hospital, and it must have the sole aim of alleviating the miseries of the poor. The first poor person Jesus wants to wash and alleviate is you. You are probably poor in works of love, but we don't have to remain that way. So my hope for you all this Easter is that you find the time to ponder the events of this first Holy Week and understand for yourselves the value of your own lives there in the cross of Jesus, the Son of God, who willingly, lovingly gave up his life in exchange for yours. And may the joy of a resurrected heart be yours in these coming months. God bless, and a happy and holy Easter to all of you.